Welcome to the Money, Mindset and Miracles podcast, helping you to grow a predictable and scalable month of high income from your business as gracefully as possible. I'm Rachel Smith, business coach, mindset expert, and the founder of Momentum Mastermind, your 90-day sprint to scaling your business to 5K. Join me every week as I dive into the tips, inspirational stories, and strategies that are going to support you on your journey to growing your awesome business. Hello and a really warm welcome to this brand new series from the Money, Mindset and Miracles podcast, where I am opening the doors to my wonderful world where there's an abundance of amazing female experts who are going to come and share their wisdom, their stories, their strategies to help you to scale your business. And I'm absolutely delighted that I have got JoJo Graham here, who is my first podcast interviewee. So I'm absolutely delighted that she's here. And I'm just going to introduce you to JoJo, and then we're going to get stuck into this content because she's got so much to share with you. It's going to be amazing. So if you haven't come across JoJo before, she is not only an expert in business, having a degree in business management and a decade of business experience in coaching, mentoring, event planning, and marketing. She's also mum to 7-year-old Noah. Lots of love to Noah.
Biggest job.
Yeah, definitely. So JoJo has built her success, which we're going to be hearing more about on today's episode, by supporting businesses to grow and scale their businesses to six figures through her mentoring. And she's the founder of the Simple Business Academy, a CPD accredited company that certifies people to become business coaches and mentors, as well as teach businesses how to grow and scale their businesses. She is now on a mission to support as many businesses as possible to reach their fullest potential using her simple business strategies, which we're going to hear a little bit more of in a bit. She does this through her mentoring, membership, certification, podcast, digital courses, content card, decks, live events and international retreats, which you've got one coming up very soon, haven't you? And actually it was through your card deck, which I have here.
Oh, wow.
That I first came across you. So when did you release this? 2019?
Oh, gosh, I didn't realise that's how we first connected. So that was in 2020. So that was my lockdown focus.
Project.
Yeah, exactly. It started before lockdown happened, but then it came out then, when we were all stuck.
It's probably the perfect time actually to create a little project like this. So this is amazing for anybody who gets stuck on creating content. It's a really good product, and it's really good fun, isn't it? It's like lots of cards and lots of ideas. Brilliant. So what JoJo and I really wanted to do today is kind of dive into her story. And I think that's a really good place to start this series, is to really hear about from another woman who has managed to transform not just her business, but to transform her life and the life of her son, Noah, who I know is the heart of your business and your why. But really, you transformed your business to six figures really quickly. And I'd love to really start with that story and for you to share, what were you doing before then? What was the point, what was the point when you were like, right, okay, I'm going to run a business? And then take us a little bit through those first 12 months as well, JoJo.
Yeah, no problem. Gosh, where do I start? So my background before doing what I do now was in banking, but I had that job all while I was studying business management. So business has always been something that I've been very passionate about, very interested in. But ironically, I studied business management for 3 years in university, but didn't know how to actually set up a business when I graduated, which is something that I'm actually really passionate about, because there was no support that came after uni to help me get into business myself, which is why I do what I do today. But that was way back in 2011. And it wasn't until I had one of those moments when I was still working in my bank job that I just felt like there was more to life. And I know like a lot of people have those kinds of like light bulb moments. And it was when I went for a promotion at my job, and it was one of those jobs and promotions that I just like, I thought it was mine. Everyone thought it was going to be mine. I was like the top 3 in the whole of the country in what I did and like the sales and everything. And it was kind of like a no-brainer that I would get the job, because it just, that was just the case. But I didn't get the job. And it was at that point that I thought that I was allowing somebody else to dictate to me how much I was worth with giving me a pay rise and whatever. So it was at that point that I stopped performing in my job. I just thought, right, that's it. I'm going to just do just enough to get paid. And then like, I need to get out of here, because I felt so, I don't know, devalued and just like frustrated. But it was around that time that I also started this side business, which was a network marketing business at the time, which created a bit of success quite quickly. So I was making something like, I don't know, £500 a month from that business. But I could see the potential of what I could earn in business. Like, you know, it was uncapped. There was no limits to what I could do. So once I knew that, I couldn't unknow it. And I couldn't focus on my job. I had to just get out. And I could see that as like my ticket out of the bank. But then it wasn't until, so that was at the end of 2014. And there was another moment where, which was what actually made me decide to go all in as an entrepreneur. And that was when I went for a meal with 2 of my sisters. And I said to them, like, I want to just completely change my life. I want to get rid of my car. I want to quit my job. I want to move. And I just want to start over. And about 20 minutes after me saying that, on the way home from the meal, I crashed my car, completely wrote it off. Which is why I always say you have to be so careful, like with words and what you wish for. And I like, sometimes I just like literally don't speak, because I know it will just come true on like bad stuff. Because I got rid of my car, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to take this as a sign, because you know, I just said that and it just happened. So what else did I say? I also said that I want to quit my job and move. So a month to the date of me saying that, I handed my notice into my bank job, and I was there for 8.5 years. So that was like a really hard decision.
Huge, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then 2 months to the date of that crash, I moved to London. So I was living in Cardiff at the time, moved to London, and that's where I started building up my network, organising and hosting personal development events around London. And just started just like being an entrepreneur, which was so scary, because I left my job before I was financially ready. But I took away all of the luxuries that were like, you know, I'd stopped going out and stopped spending money on certain things. And I worked out I had enough money to last me for 3 months. So I thought, right, I've got 3 months to just like make this happen. Otherwise, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'll just have to get another job. You know, I'll just have to do that. But thankfully it worked. And that's that kind of where it started.
And in your family, JoJo, just breaking in there a little bit, are you the first person to be an entrepreneur? Were you the first person in your family to be an entrepreneur?
No, not really. So my dad is from a farming background, so they had their own farm. My mum was always a self-employed, like when we were younger, self-employed hairdresser. And now I've got 2 sisters, and we are all doing our own thing. So it's kind of like, it's embedded in us in certain ways, but not really. Like, I wouldn't describe us as an entrepreneurial family, more of business owners. Because I do think there's a difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur. I feel like I'm definitely an entrepreneur. I would say that my sisters are more business owners and my family more business owners, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is. It was just interesting when you said that you first started off with network marketing. Mm-hmm. And for me, when I was in a job, I was in a career, I was really happy with that. And then I started to retrain as a coach and go through that certification. And it was like my first entry into the entrepreneurial world, and I met all these people, and I was like, are you mad? You're all like, you know, but then it was really inspiring. And my family, you know, very much kind of worked for somebody else. Well, they did do, and they're not similar to you. My siblings have all gone and started their own businesses. But, you know, really that first peek into the entrepreneurial world, I was like, wow, there's like a different way of being. And it was from that, I was like, and especially because I had a child at that point, I was like, I want that freedom, I want that flexibility. And it was, a massive driving force to actually leave the security of a job.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And like doing it on your own, it's all on you. But then when I weigh it up, like, as an entrepreneur, the risks outweigh, like the benefits outweigh the risks when you really do believe that you can make it happen and you go all in. But yeah, it's a roller coaster. And I think that's what to expect when you are just building your own business and, trying to make it happen.
And I think that is a real reality, isn't it? Because I think there's so many people out there telling you that you can have this and you can have that, and it's really easy, and you can do it with this one thing. Yeah. And it's like, actually, until you put certain things in place, you are going to experience a roller coaster ride, especially in the early days. But that's when you're learning, and I'd imagine that you learned so much in that first 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in 2015 was when I went all in as an entrepreneur with the other business. During that time, I was pregnant. So Noah was born in 2016. And it wasn't until the beginning of 2017 that I stepped into the role of what I do now as a business coach mentor in this business. And that, I think that's where I really kind of pinpoint as like I learned a lot before then, but that's where I really took it seriously. And that's because I invested in myself. So that's the first time I hired a mentor. So I invested $10,000 at the time in a mentor to show me how to grow my business. And like that's when I truly feel like I did actually go all in, because before that it was like practicing, figuring stuff out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, dipping my feet in. Even though I was making my own money, I was learning a lot at that time. So in that first year doing what I do now, my goal was to make 6 figures, which was a huge goal for me, because up until that point, like I was struggling to make money. I was just like figuring it all out. But because I had my mentor to show me the exact steps to take, that's how I made it happen. And a year to the date of hiring her as a mentor, I hit my 6-figure mark. So it just goes to show, when you've got a goal and when you have a plan, that's when you can actually make the dream become a reality.
And to do all of that whilst you were pregnant as well, it's huge, isn't it? It's like there's a lot. Did it feel as if there was a lot of pressure on you?
Oh yeah, definitely. So being pregnant, but also when he was born as well, I think, as a parent, you always feel that pressure anyway, because it's not just about you, it's about them as well. And they're watching you, and you want to provide an amazing future, you want to be available for them and present, and it's a lot when kids are also involved.
Yeah, definitely. And so let's just take you back to those 12 months. I mean, to scale your business to 12 months, in 12 months to 6 figures is a tremendous, it's great. It's a tremendous achievement. So what were the kind of pivotal points in that year that really led you to achieving those goals? One of them obviously was employing and investing in yourself at that starting point. What were the others?
So I think the key thing and the main thing for me was that I had my plan and I stuck to it. There were so many times when I wanted to waver off the plan or do something else, but I would always bring myself back. But also, I don't know if the word's obsessed. Maybe I was obsessed with achieving the goal, but I was always like that. Like I was very invested in actually achieving what I wanted to achieve as well, which meant that I was always looking at like, hey, where am I at? What do I need to do to make it happen? And I started off with one-to-one clients, and I knew what I needed to do to reach full capacity with them. Once I hit full capacity with my one-to-one clients, that's when I launched my first group program. And I had a couple of group programs that year. Then I think I launched a course. And then I remember it was like August of that year. And I I had 60,000 or 70,000 left before hitting my 6-figure mark. And then January was the 1 year. And I thought, right, okay, if I continue doing what I'm doing, I'm not going to reach my goal. So what do I actually need to do now to make it happen? And then that's when I created a program that allowed me to make the rest of the money to get to my 6-figure goal.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for me stopping, looking at where I was at, like, you know, it was about 8 months in, then I probably wouldn't have hit it. So I think the lesson in that is to just make sure that you know your numbers, you know where you're at, you know what you need to do then to actually make the goal happen, and stay in solution focused as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of having that review, isn't it? And I think for lots of my audience, it's like that perhaps don't have a plan, they don't have a strategy. It's kind of like they're trying a bit of everything at the moment. Some stuff's working, some stuff's not working. But just having that kind of strategy in place and knowing that actually if you carried on this path and you do all those things, you're going to achieve your ultimate goal, which you did do, which is amazing. One of the things that I talk about a lot on the podcast is mindset, and obviously that kind of reprogramming so that you can really believe that what you want to achieve is possible. Mm-hmm. So for you in that kind of 12-month period, what was it that you had to kind of overcome in your own mindset that helped you to achieve that 6-figure?
So for me, I always say to myself, like, what is the alternative? And I connected with the alternative being something that I really didn't want. And I think that some people are motivated towards something and some people are motivated away from something. And I'm very much a person that's motivated away from something. So I figured out what I didn't want, and that would be what would happen if I didn't do what I needed to do. And then that really, really supported me, especially during that first year as well. I also became a single mother. So I think that also helped me in a way, because it was all on me, and I couldn't, like, my back was up against the wall. So I had to make it happen. And I think that was a big driving force for me as well. So that was my experience. But I think that, you know, anyone who is looking to achieve a goal and maybe does have those like gremlins in their mind that like is, you know, saying to them, like, you're not good enough, you're not going to do it, it's not possible. Surround yourself with people who get it and who are on the same mission and are positive, solution focused, entrepreneurial, because they will inspire you, they'll encourage you, and they'll motivate you just to keep going. And I think that is probably something that really helped me as well, because I was in a mastermind at the time, and that really did help me. So yeah, being around people, I think, is just the key thing. Yeah,
because as I said, when I first had that kind of insight into an entrepreneurial world, I was like, people are mad, but you need other mad people who get what it takes to actually grow a profitable business, who are going to cheer you on, who have either experienced what you've experienced or are currently experiencing that, so they have deep understanding of what you're going through.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes such a difference, because you know, you can go to them with a win and they'll celebrate you. Not like, you know, your family and friends might not even get that. But then you can also go to them with a problem and they'll also be able to support you as well. So there's so much in it.
Yeah, definitely. So if you were looking back now on those first 12 months, is there one thing that you would do differently now if you were to restart the business?
Not in that first year. I'd say that reflecting on the years, because that was back in 2017, so it's been about 6 years since then. If I was to give myself advice during the last 6 years, it is to stick at the thing and give it long enough so you can see that it will work. Because I created that success in that first year, and then it continued into the second year. And then I think the third year is when I started thinking, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, when I should have just, like, and this is what my business is all about, keeping it simple. I should have just kept it simple and just continued on what I was doing. Because what I'm finding now is there are certain things that I'm rebuilding and I'm redoing that I stopped doing in like that middle period. So once you've got your vision, just stick to it and continue along, because the more you do it, the closer you're going to get to that end goal.
Yeah, and I think that is a key. That's something I experienced, like shiny object syndrome. Oh, I fancy doing a bit of all of this, and you go off and you do it, and then you realise that you're off track. So it's one of my key messages to my audience is, just have that clarity, keep going, review it, make those tweaks, but keep going, because like your audience needs to understand who you are, what you do, and what you could help them with. And every time you go off track, that's just confusing them.
Exactly. And a confused mind never buys. So I don't regret it. I don't regret many things, because I probably would have always have had that what if, or I probably would have wanted to do it anyway. But now I'm glad that I'm back on track, and the vision is just clearer than ever. So yeah, there's lots of learning when it comes to entrepreneurship anyway. And I think that's where the self-awareness piece comes in. As long as we are just self-aware, we're constantly checking in, and we know what it is that we want and we need to do, then that's the key thing.
Yeah, and I think just hearing that conversation will reassure lots of people that what they're experiencing, what they've done, is completely normal.
Yeah.
JoJo, I've loved this chat, and for my audience, those people who would like to keep in touch with you, what is the best way that people can follow you, find out more about what you do?
So I hang out mostly on Instagram. That's where I like to be. That's where I want to grow. So they can find me at I am JoJo Graham. Really, really simple. And I'm always talking about the current things that I'm working on, the things that they can download. The most recent thing is my free guide to revenue stacking to 6 figures, which has been very pivotal to my success over the years. So they can download that. But yeah, that's where they can find me and they can reach out.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you so much, JoJo, for being here and for being my first guest. It has been amazing to have you. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.